accepting, another aspect of giving away your sovereign power is accepting what someone says when this is not your family or friend or someone you hold dear. Let me give you an example of this, and I'm going to show you some screenshots as well here in a moment. So all over social media, I've been seeing people for a while now, and many of you I'm sure have as well, where especially in the health spaces and everything else, right, where they'll say all types of claims. For example, they will say, here, I'm selling you this product because I used to have all these different diseases. And they'll go off naming all types of stuff, right? Like in the Pacific, I'm not going to name any Pacific names, but in the herbal spaces, there were a few people coming up in my feed, as advertisements on Instagram, that these people said they had so many different autoimmune diseases that they healed themselves from. And I'm like, and people all was in the, people were all up in the comments like, yeah, go this and go that, so you be like, yes, yes, yes. And let me tell you what's strange about that, right? First off, major claims of something have to have major evidence of it. Okay? This is why we purposely just don't claim things. We actually show you. Okay? Some things can't be shown publicly. You have to come to an event, but we show you. So let me give you an example of this. And this is dealing with giving away your sovereign power. So if a person makes the claim, for example, that they, like one person, we shared this with the members of the Meta Center a while ago. So they got this like a year ago or so, okay? But this one person, for example, said they healed themselves from like 10 different diseases, right? Of course, things were so nuanced, you can't prove one way or another, okay? But some of them you can. And the person said specifically an autoimmune disease, right? Now, as many of you know who are more astute, with autoimmune diseases, many of them are very similar, okay? Just like a lot of diseases seem to be, the issues seem to be very similar, right? So typically, in 99% of the cases that I have seen, okay, as being a herbalist for years and being in the health space and everything else and helping out thousands of people, right, that especially if it's a serious issue like an autoimmune disease, you're going to have to go get lab work done, okay? You're going to have to go to, whether you go to a doctor directly or whether you go to a lab directly, you get lab work done. If they see that there's an issue, then from that point, you would get more lab work done that's more specific, okay, and much more expensive, okay? From that point, eventually it comes to the conclusion that, yes, you may have this, or this person may have this autoimmune disease or that one, okay? That's how it works, okay? And then for example, difference between one and another, right? Difference between, let's say, HIV and lupus, okay? Stuff like that. So from that point, if someone's making a claim that I healed myself from 3 autoimmune diseases, you got to say, I need you to back that up. You know what I'm saying? Because if you really had an autoimmune disease, you got lab work for a fact. You have lab work if you really did have it. Let's see the lab work of before and let's see the lab work after. Now, if you are able to show that, oh yes, your business will go from whatever you're at to triple or quadruple because people actually factually see. But let me tell you all something. I guarantee they're not going to show anything like that because they can't. Because it's made up. They're mooah. Okay? So when you just believe something like that, because think about it, belief is something on your end. Anybody could stand on a soapbox and say anything they want to say. Okay? Just think about this, right? If half the nonsense that we seeing currently on the news, like the Fosse dude, if he were to get up on a soapbox in the middle of the street and say that nonsense, would anybody pay attention to him? No. They just say that guy's crazy. Do you understand? So it's the same thing with everything. You have to, this person is not your family. This person is not your friend. You don't know this person at all. So you should ask for, should want to investigate and see, has this stuff been shown, so that you can even protect yourself, so that you're not giving belief into something that may actually not be a good thing for you. Okay, so let me give some a deeper example of this. Okay, I'm about to show you some images on the screen here. So this image you see here is from a movie. This is Baron Vladimir Harkonnen. Okay, it's from the movie called Dune. Many of you will know this movie because in your orders, of course, you get many gifts and things in your orders. And one of the flyers is the movie list. Okay, movies to watch that show a secret of our reality, right? And one of those movies is Dune. Okay, Dune is an excellent movie. So if you haven't seen Dune, you should check it out. Okay, this comes from Dune right here.
And how can this be? For he is the Kwisatz Haderach.
Okay, so that my whole sound effect there actually comes from Dune. Okay, again, it's an excellent movie. You should check it out. So again, the Baron, who is the head of the House of Harkonnen, okay, they are pretty much a very savage-like house. Okay, would do just about anything to gain power. Okay, now you see him here, right? He looks like he's infected, right? You know what I'm saying? His face is nasty, got pus all up over it. And in the movie itself, this doctor is poking at it, right? And saying how his diseases are so beautiful, right? Absolutely disgusting, right? But nevertheless, you see him here. What if he offered you something? Now, I don't even got to say offered you something specific. If he tried to offer you anything, you would not accept it. Why? Because you visually see something there that's not good. But let's say, for example, this person here wanted to offer you the V and said, you should take the V. Please let me give you my special tonics. Right? You're gonna be you're gonna be like,
bruh, stop the cap.
Right? So
not today, Satan.
Okay, so you're gonna do all that, right? If this dude decided to do that, okay. So let me show you another example here, right? Now again, this is dealing with, again, giving away your sovereign power, right? So you would not accept anything from this person, okay? We get that, right? So actually, let me do a poll here real quick in the chat room on YouTube, right? Let me know. Let me tell you this. Well, let me ask you all this on YouTube. Would you accept anything from this person? I don't care what it is. Okay? If you would not accept anything from this person, say no. If you would accept something from this person, like if you wanted to give you the V, right? Say yes. So if you would accept the V from this person, say yes. If you would not accept the V from this person, say no. Okay? And while one person said, hell no. Okay, so let's continue on here. So the next picture I'm showing you here, again, this is a fun metaphysical conversation to express and display more advanced tactics and techniques in this world that is upside down, that really needs to be right side up. So what you see here on the screen now is, this is Darth Vader, okay? Darth Vader from Star Wars. And even though you don't see his face, and even though Darth Vader had more of a clean physique, at least in when he has his armor on, would you accept if this Darth Vader, if this dark side person, if he came to you and he said to you, I want to give you the V, would you accept it? Yes or no? Okay, so that's the question again. If Darth Vader came to you and said they wanted to give you the V, would you accept it? Yes or no? And of course, Darth Vader, we know what he represents, right? We know what he stands for. So, of course, again, in the chat room, people are saying, no way. They're saying, hell no. You know,
Not today, Satan.
Stop the cap.
Bruh.
right? So we get it, right? We get it. They're saying, no, I'm not going to accept the V from Darth Vader. Okay? So now here's also another picture here, right? And so I'm trying to prove a point here, right? I'm going deeper and deeper. So just bear with me here. Let's walk down this path, okay? So the V is the V, you know, the injection that people are getting. Okay, someone asked in the chat room, what is the V? Okay, it's the injection. All right. So here's the neighborhood corner man. Okay, so the neighborhood corner man here is he has of course he's selling the marijuanas, but he also has in one of his baggies the V. Okay, he has the V in one of his baggies, and he asks you, hey, would you want to get some of this V, right? And would you accept the V from him? I mean, he's selling marijuana. You know, many of you are into that. That's one of your things that you like to do. Even you can even call it a hobby. Would you accept a V from your neighborhood marijuana dealer? Okay. So, of course, the answer is no. I'm not going to keep asking you all yes or no. We all know the answer is no. But then it becomes, why would you accept it from this then? Just because someone puts on this coat? I mean, I'm just asking a serious question here. Because it's all the same. Now, someone say, no, it's not. This person here, Baron Vladimir Harkonnen from House of Harkonnen, he's evil. You know what I'm saying? He's an obvious evil man. He does evil things. Okay, Darth Vader from Star Wars, he's evil. He's an obvious evil man, and he does evil things. Why would I accept anything from these people? Right? And then I show you again the marijuana man, right? Oh, of course I'm not going to accept anything from him. He may not be necessarily an evil man, but no, I'm not accepting anything from that person.
Not today, Satan.
Okay? I'm not doing any of that. But then again, I ask you, why would you accept it from the person who will wear this coat? Then you'll come with all types of reasons, because did you a makeup, right? Maybe about the person being smart. Again, going back to the Baron of House Harkonnen, he's the head of the house. And they're ruthless. They're major players in the galaxy of Doom. Okay? So he's not dumb either. I would say he's probably much more smarter than a person who wears this coat. Okay? Darth Vader, okay, who was Anakin Skywalker. Anakin Skywalker was, as far as in the movie, okay, this is all metaphysical and dealing with fiction, okay? Anakin Skywalker, who turned into Darth Vader, was also a very smart person. I would say probably smarter and more, has more ingenuity than the people who may wear this coat. Okay, now for the neighborhood marijuana dealer, I can't really say one way or another. So let's go deep, right? So of course the premise that people would say is that the person wearing the white coat is pretty much the next thing closest to God. And I would say to that,
Stop the cap.
Bruh.
Not today, Satan.
okay, that's what I would say to somebody who may say that, right? So, but I'm about to share my screen here again, okay? So I'm about to share my screen, and I'm about to show you all something. And I'm about to show you facts, okay? So you can come to your own decisions in the things that you do, okay? So I went overboard, right? I gave many examples. I showed you Baron Vladimir Harkonnen from House of Harkonnen. I showed you Darth Vader. I showed you the neighborhood drug guy. You say that the person wearing the white coat is nowhere near that. Why am I going on and pretty much exhausting this point? Here, what you see on the screen now is the unethical human experimentation in the United States. Now, of course, what you see here, this is from Wikipedia. This is a public, okay, this is public information. Of course, I mean, a person who has even somewhat of intelligence know that many, many things go on behind closed doors, right? And many of these things that are public, the entities themselves eventually released it, okay? Not like people may have hinted to it, but these entities actually released it. So let's get into this. Now this is all by the medical industry, okay? On behalf of, or the government themselves, or on behalf of the government, or doing it just themselves, okay? So numerous experiments which were performed on human test subjects in the United States are considered unethical because they were illegally performed, or they were performed without knowledge, consent, or informed consent of the test subjects. Such tests were performed throughout American history. So the person who has that coat that I showed you is part of an organization that has been doing unethical human experimentation without the knowledge, consent, or informed consent of the test subjects. And such tests have been performed throughout American history. But they say most of them were performed during the 20th century. Well, they say most now because now it just hasn't been released yet. Maybe 40, 50 years from now, they're changing history, they're bringing down monuments and everything else. So now it may come to the point where it's under closed doors forever. But if they released everything that goes on, I mean, it would fill volumes. It would fill libraries of all the insidious behavior that goes on behind closed doors. Okay? The experiments included the exposure of humans to many chemical and biological weapons. Okay, I'm going to highlight this so you can see what I'm reading. Okay, including infections with deadly or debilitating diseases, human radiation experiments, injections of toxic and radioactive chemicals, surgical experiments, so pretty much doing unnecessary surgery on you. How many people we know, even you may know in your family, where they'll go to the hospital and the medical establishment would do a surgery that was unneeded? You can literally Google that and get tons of examples of this, of people even suing because of this, right? Again, this is the motive, this is the MO, the modus of operations of this organization. Okay? See, sometimes it takes we're going to get deeper into the manifestation in your powers. But I'm tired of people engaging with, they have good hearts, right? And they're trying to show and be clear and explain why people shouldn't do this or do that and everything else. But they're missing certain points, right? And they're missing core points. We don't got to go deep into the chemicals of things and everything else. Oh, what is that made of? We don't have to go even there. We can start at the foundation right at the door. And this is right at the door. Okay, so a messenger came down from Argartha and wanted me to do this because the points were not getting, they weren't going across the realm at the degree and at the power that they needed to. So that's why I'm showing you, I give you these cartoony examples and talk about movies and everything else, because it hits home. We all are watching movies. We're all into this stuff. So it really hits home and it's very easy to understand. So again, let's continue on. So surgical experiments, interrogation, torture experiments, tests which involve mind-altering substances like MK Ultra, okay, and a wide variety of other experiments. Many of these tests performed on children, the sick, and the mentally disabled individuals. So especially the mentally disabled individuals and the children, 100% people that cannot consent, they were performed on them, often under the guise of medical treatment. In many of the studies, a large portion of the subjects were poor, racial minorities, or prisoners. Many of you, if you want to go down that, look how many experiments they do on prisoners, because when you're a prisoner, you actually are pretty much a ward of the state. They can do anything to you. Okay? Many of these experiments violated U.S. law. So that tells you for a long time, it was laws in the book saying like, hey, no. But companies and other entities did these things anyway. And of course, with any of these things, it takes the people to enact justice against unlawful entities. Just think about it. Even what I just named here, for example, up to here, if you or I did this, we would be, they would probably exterminate us immediately, right? They would even say you were a criminal organization and bring us up on maybe RICO charges and stuff like that, right? But these companies and all these other entities are doing these things. So not only are they performing all these unethical experiments and everything else, this organization is a criminal enterprise because they are criminally continually to do these things. Okay? Again, these are people who pray to the white coats. And you said, not saying you directly, but they would say that they're different than Darth Vader. They're different than Baron Valdemir Harkonnen from House of Harkonnen. They're different than the marijuana dealer who wants to sell you the V. They're different than those people. Especially the Baron, especially Darth Vader. But they actually are worse. They're worse. Okay? They are the ones who were, these Darth Vader and let's say House of Harkonnen were inspired by them. By them right here that I'm reading. Were inspired by, let's say, the U.S.'s engagement in these illegal activities. They were inspired by this. You know, okay? It's not the other way around. So, some others were sponsored by government agencies or rogue elements thereof, including the Center of Disease Control, the main entity that Dr. Fauci keeps telling, getting caught up in lies, saying that in the beginning, he literally said that, I'm ad-libbing here, but said that, in short, why would you wear masks? Why would you wear these masks you buy from the store? They're worthless against this supposed disease. Why would you wear them? Then he said, wear them. But are they worthless or not? Okay? His stance in the beginning, before it really, the pressure started getting, was they're worthless. So which is true or not? And so this is the deep thing about it. Going back to it is that people in positions of trust, okay? These people in positions of trust are not your sister or brother. They're not your mother or father. They're not your grandma or grandfather. They're not your husband or wife. Okay? Why are people giving these people the patience, giving these people the even love, right? Giving these people the chances that you would give literally one of your family members. These people are not your family or your friends. You have no idea what their intent is, and obviously they're part of an organization that intent is absolutely insidious. These organizations are literally the type of stuff that literally you can make a movie out of. Literally, an evil movie. So why would you give them the type of trust that a husband would give a wife or a wife would give a husband? That doesn't make any sense at all. It doesn't even, I mean, it boggles the mind, right? But yet, these same type of people in their personal lives, when their loved one does make a mistake, something like that, they ostracize them, right? But they give these people every chance in the world, right? So let's continue on here. So let's actually go down to some of the, so here's some of the surgical experiments, okay? So throughout the 1840s, J. Marion Sims, who is often referred to as the father of gynecology, performed surgical experiments on enslaved African women without anesthesia. What? What? Now, some of you here, everybody here is above 18. Everybody here is adults. Okay, this is proving a point here, a very specific point that's undeniable. So just bear with me here. We're going to continue on past this in a moment, but I have to prove this point here and continue on for those that may not be as advanced as some of you here. Okay. So again, throughout the 1840s, this J. Marion Sims, okay, there's a picture of him there, performed surgical experiments on enslaved African women without anesthesia. The women, one of whom was operated on 30 times, eventually died from infections resulting from the experiments. Facts. Remember, this is the stuff that's known, okay? Let's go down. 19th century. Of course, I'm passing up quite a bit of stuff, okay? You can research this yourself. This is on Wikipedia. It's unethical human experimentation in the United States. Now, you also remember this. unethical human experimentation has happened and does happen all over the world. Okay? Pathogens, disease, and biological warfare agents. Late 19th century. In 1880s, Hawaii, a California physician working at a hospital for lepers injected 6 girls under the age of 12 with syphilis. Why would you do that? Now, a lot of times they weren't doing this because they were malicious. They were doing this because they were ordered to do this by higher-ups. Okay? In 1895, New York City pediatrician Henry Hyman intentionally infected 2 mentally disabled boys, one of 4, one of 6, one of 16. So one of 4 and one of 16 with gonorrhea as a part of a medical experiment. 20th century. I'm passing up some stuff here. 20th century. Let's see here. In 1908, 3 Philadelphia researchers infected dozens of children with tuberculin at St. Vincent Orphanage in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, causing permanent blindness in some of the children and painful lesions and inflammation of the eyes in many of the others. So this is why, this is a call to those in the community, of all communities, because this is a humanity issue, okay? Especially those of you who actually are intelligent. This is what I got to say to you.
Stop the cap.
Okay?
Bruh.
Come on with the nonsense. It's time to grow up, literally. Okay? I'm tired of seeing people all over the place dwelling who are actually intelligent. They are intelligent for sure, but they're dwelling in the 4 F's: fight, flee, feed, and fornicate. It's like they can't get out of it. If you can't get out of it, just get a consultation or something. So I could tell you how to get out of that. Okay? Because you actually are very intelligent, and you can actually do much better. Okay? But you sitting here, you playing games. So either you are literally the muwa, okay, and your whole purpose is to mislead people, or you actually just need a little bit of encouragement and help. And then from a teacher to a teacher, I can offer some of you that help. Because some of y'all playing, man. But you're smart. And you can bring about a better life for many, because these people tripping. Okay? And the whole thing is that, and these people, as far as the populace, are praising these people and treating them like their mother, their father, etc. So let's go on to the 1940s. At the University of Michigan, biologists Thomas Francis, there's a picture of him, and Jonas Salk, and other researchers deliberately infected patients at several Michigan mental institutions with influenza virus by spraying the virus into nasal passages. Why is this stuff so similar to what we're experiencing right now, right? Come on, man.
And no.
Not today, Satan. Not today, Satan.
All right, so what is going on? This stuff is getting very, very similar to what we are seeing today. All right, so one moment here. All right, so let's continue on. Okay, I'm going to the 1950s now. In 1950, to conduct a simulation of a biological warfare attack, the U.S. Naval sprayed large quantities of the bacteria that you see there, okay, considered harmless at the time, over the city of San Francisco, okay? They sprayed, which they considered harmless at the time, right? They considered it harmless, right? Sure, okay? Yeah, so they sprayed it over the city of San Francisco during a project called Operation Sea Spray, okay? Operation Sea Spray. Numerous citizens contracted pneumonia-like illness, and at least one person died as a result. So they're spraying things also, conducting medical experiments over entire cities. All right, so, I mean, that's a doozy itself. Let's go on to the 1960s. In 1963, 22 elderly patients at the Jewish Chronic Disease Hospital in Brooklyn, New York City, were injected with live cancer cells by Chester M. Southern, who in 1952 had done the same, look at this, had done the same to prisoners at the Ohio State Prison to discover the secret of how healthy bodies fight the invasion of malignant cells.
Not today, Satan.
Okay? Human radiation experiments, radioactive iodine, uranium experiments, plutonium experiments, experiments involving other radioactive materials. You see these things for yourself. Fallout research. That's the fallout is like after a nuclear bomb or something like that goes off, and the waste, pretty much the waste materials in the air and in the soil and everything else. Do research on that. Irradiation experiments, non-consensual tests. And this deals with chemical experiments. Operation Top Hat. For those superhumans, that's very interesting, right? Because there's something very specific we discussed in the superhuman classes. Operation Top Hat? What? Okay, well, we got to research that later. Okay. Psychological and torture experiments. And it goes on and on and on and on. Okay, I'm about to unshare my screen now. So again, I'm about to make a point here. So you would not trust this guy, right, who does very similar, okay, very similar. You would not trust, this is the Baron, again, Baron Veldemir Harkonnen from House Harkonnen. I'm saying his full name, yes. Here is Anakin Skywalker, who eventually became Darth Vader. You wouldn't trust him, right, because he's evil. Here's the neighborhood marijuana dealer, who of course is much less compared to those two characters, but you would not get from him the V to inject yourself with from him either. Okay, but yet the person who wears this, that doesn't mean all these people, but they're part of a organization that is known for it. They're part of a criminal enterprise, literally. So why would you trust this person? Again, it doesn't mean all the people out there. I know some very good, wholesome, who are doing the right thing, medical doctors. Personally, I know them, right? But the organization they're a part of does experiments on people and stuff, okay, that does proven unethical, and still to this day, I guarantee they still are doing it, okay? This is my opinion now. But it's based on just the nature, the historical nature of these enterprises, okay? But yet the people around you are trying to convince you, just put in you the tonic from this person. Just put in you from an organization that's known as a criminal organization, who gets their supplies from a bigger criminal organization that we could go on and on and on. I think you get the point here. I'm going to stop it there for now. There's two other points we're going to get into. Okay, there's two other points in my monologue that we need to discuss. But for now, I'm going to bring on our next guest. I don't want her waiting.
One village.
What does that mean?
Where I'm from, every man and woman cares for every child. It is our duty to make sure every child is safe.